welcome back everybody to another MyGM video. I'm joined as always by Jackson, and we're taking a look at every new feature in WWE 2K25's MyGM Mode. Jackson, there's a lot to get through here. What have you thought of the changes so far?
Dan, there's a stack to get through here. This hands-on look reveal ahead of the launch, the early launch, no less, has got me excited. I'm pumped. I'm ready for the MyRise collaboration. NXT Mutiny, pump it into my veins. No,
NXT Mutiny. So
I
that
don't, I don't think anyone outside the developer could really care less. I mean, is seriously anyone out there playing MyRise except to chase trophies like yourself?
Yeah, I literally get the trophies and bounce within as quick as I possibly can.
I
Let's
do
just say that.
appreciate a pardon the pun, brand new brand that we can play with as a result, plus a new power card. You want to go from the top here, you want to chat about what's new. How about we've had the reveal, we now understand what MyGM Online is going to look like. And essentially, it's a similar, albeit slightly different experience to what's going to be offered for those playing locally. My GM Online is going to have all the same features as those playing locally, and we'll talk about the additions in a moment. Let's talk about the subtractions. Not having custom GMs, that's a tough pill to swallow. Not having custom rosters, including what we believe to be created wrestlers, is second pretty tough pill to swallow. Not being able to play matches for you and I, as this being a mainly text-based game, couldn't care less. Same for spectating, although it would be interesting to watch an entire local talent rumble unfold. Sadly, we won't be able to do that online.
Well, not only
I
that,
suppose that
Jackson, you can't spectate of other people booking. You're booking in the online feature, you're booking at the same time as your competitors with the time limit.
I love that time limit option if it's activated. That online tracker where you can even see what other people are up to, having a little prompt pop up saying that they're perusing power cards, that could lead to some excellent banter. It's disappointing that we're not going to get that opportunity to do simultaneous turn taking offline for obvious reasons, yet having everyone book at once. And as you said, with a timer, anywhere minimum 1 minute to maximum 15 minutes, plus you can choose to penalize a certain percentage of fans that they would have otherwise gained that week if they go over their timer. That's superb. I can't wait to put a 5 minute timer on you and watch you bomb out every
Yeah.
single week.
Well,
But speaking
yeah.
of not being able to see each other book, you then won't be able to see their emails. You may not have an opportunity to really explore what's going on. You could feel pressured. I suppose then it goes back to if you want these features, yet still choose that play locally option, you would need then to look at a shared play choice. For Dan and I, it's mainly been playing over Steam, yet we have explored in the past the opportunity to play via Parsec, another PC app, or perhaps PS5 shared play as well.
We will continue to do that. I think just because we want to be able to see both of us booking. That's the main reason I think why
I
we're
love
still
the
going to be.
surprise element. Imagine when we get up to these
Yeah,
cross-branded
yeah.
PLEs, which we will get into, and we don't know who's booked what. We don't know the mid-card matches. We don't know who's going to put up superstars versus each other. I think there's
Well,
awesome
we could do
opportunity to have
both.
some real competitive features. We could have two. Let's have two. Let's do them simultaneously even.
We
Let's do
could
an
do,
offline
well.
local and an online version.
Here, I would see it panning out as I would book Raw, and you would book SmackDown or whatever it was. I book SmackDown, you book Raw. 1 week, and the audience are watching me book, and then the next week we follow you, and I'm hidden. Would you do it like that?
I believe that's a very strong option. Yes.
Anyway, we can work
I
that
love
out.
the
But yeah,
sound of
no,
it.
this is the first time they've ever done online, so we'll give them some slack. And there's only 10 or so people in the MyGM developer team, so let's keep that in mind that this online feature is very new, and I'm sure this will all
Yeah.
be
Speaking
fixed
to the
next year.
development team, Tyson Heiner maybe, the lead
Mm.
designer of MyGM Mode. We coming for you, sucker. We are hitting up your DMs. We want to get in your ear. We want you in this series, and we probably want to get some early access next time for ourselves. Did you hear that little tidbit that was released that the development team had actually reached out to the godfather of the OG GM mode to get his input on what he thought?
Yes, fantastic. That's what they should have done that from the start. I love it. He created it. Let's get his feedback, and I know he's a real big fan of it. which is great to see. And as you said, yeah, anyone listening from the 2K, get Jackson, fly him down for next year's game. He'll be more than happy to go up there. Won't you, Jackson?
You will too. You touched on the new GMs. Before we get into them, how's the new man leading the tutorial of MyGM Mode? Could it be any more fitting than having Paul Heyman pop up on your screen?
Oh, is he the opening cutscene now? I thought it'd be Tyler Breeze and Creed
We didn't.
still.
I don't even know if we have an opening cutscene. Maybe that's been scrapped. Instead, he's simply just leading the tutorial, a role previously
Ah,
filled by Xavier Woods.
what did I say? Austin Creed, yeah. No, yeah, I thought it was them. Okay, it's Paul Heyman. Right. No, I love Paul Heyman. Throw him in the game as much as you want. Also, by the way, this online, you can, if we're playing an online game, right, and you decide, well, I decide to flake you. um, you
I'm
can.
glad that you worded that correctly. What's most appropriate here?
You can continue it the same thing and change me to a CPU. I think that's a nice little thing that they've added as well. You can continue on that that online.
Well, it is
game
bound
mode
to happen,
offline.
of course.
Or if you come to my house or vice versa, we can continue it in person, which I think is pretty cool. What else have we got, Jackson?
Also, getting through these options here, the online play is host supported. So it'd be great if we could say play locally, then bring it online. But it looks like we're only going to have that option to take that online game offline first. Host supported means we would be reliant on that single person to lead the save. That's probably not something that, say, player 2, player 3 could try and play it out on their own locally with CPU. And so I'm sorry to use the word play so much, but see how things play out. Let's go into the GM. So the MyGM selection UI has been revamped. We saw this in the previews. There's more characters. Everyone's back except Ted DiBiase. I'm not sure if we touched on this last time, but Miss Elizabeth as a manager seems to be have been added. And we were trying to make heads and tails in a previous upload. What is CM Punk doing here? Is he the option to pick someone from the roster? He's not. CM Punk is just in the mode as a GM.
I know. Was he ever a
There's obviously
GM?
a big CM Punk. No, not at all. And there must have been some big CM Punk fans in that small development team, obviously for good reason. We've also found out that those empty slots next to CM Punk appear to be for custom GMs. So, can you have more than one or two custom two custom GMs per gameplay? Can you have four of them? If you had them last time, hopefully we can again.
No.
Let's go into those brands.
Jackson, let me correct you. One of the slots is custom. Everyone can go custom. And the other slot is blank for now. So you catch my drift?
Yes, it's coming in a future upload. Mentioned in a future patch as well. We're looking to get up and down arrows that are going to track. They're going to easily track popularity gain and loss on match results, I believe. Let's keep going through here as we explore the mode a little bit more. So new brand NXT Mutiny from MyRise. We touched on a little bit earlier. Ill, but okay, I guess. Their power card though, pretty full on.
Where's the word mutiny come from? Is that? Am I missing something?
From MyRise.
Yeah, but is that from anything?
From the MyRise mode? There's going to there's going to be a storyline about a new NXT brand called NXT Mutiny. That's just a storyline. I know that, but
it's never been in any other games before. It's just strictly for this game.
Correct. We haven't had any MyRise integration anywhere else, especially in MyGM mode.
And again, there's a blank there, Jackson, as you can see. So this is going to my TNA theory that we could be getting TNA. I can only hope.
That's a very good theory. You discussed that offline, and as you said, one could only hope. I wonder who the GM would be. If only it could be Jeff Jarrett.
Santino Marella. Yeah, isn't he the GM right now?
Great pick. Let's get him as a playable as well. We've noticed that all brands can only have up to 5 titles max. Doesn't look like we're going to get, say, women's mid-card. Doesn't look like ECW is going to have more belts. Kind of is what it is. I suppose that's pretty tough to balance. ECW, again, looks to only have 3 belts, so they'll have higher increases as a result. We're going to have the new art for these rebranded brands. Pardon the pun for a third time. Looks excellent.
Yeah,
new updates for SmackDown, Raw, and the brand new NXT. These are older ones for WCW, ECW, and despite it being more recent, NXT 2.0 starting to look very outdated.
NXT Mutiny 2, collect the full contract price for the next 3
That's what I said before.
You fire this week. That's
overpowered.
Right. Overpowered.
Especially if after 5 weeks they're injured, they're not working out. You got 20 weeks left. You might as well kill them. And we'll talk about just how many stars you can now have in your brand in a moment. Let's talk about the options. This is one that we have been begging for.
Ho, 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 ho.
Trophies still exist, but guess what? You can change the win conditions to fans. At the
Thank
end
you.
of your season, whoever has the most fans, maybe you still have to get those trophies to secure the win. Whoever has the most fans is going to win.
They watched
And
our
if you're
video, by the way. They must have
they
watched our
must
video.
have. They must have.
The wish list.
If you are playing online, online players can watch the host pick and choose those options. So they can offer their input. They can see what they're setting up. There can be no dodgy business here. And there's an opportunity to raise and lower the trophies needed to win what your target's going to be. For example, you might only need to get one Hall of Fame trophy, which can be achieved in one season, or up to 15 trophies max, which would take you 5+ seasons. Quality of life for these longer games, superb. You and I were racing through to get those 10 trophies. It wasn't as fun as, say, chasing down fans.
We're doing the 15, right? Surely.
Of course. Mentioned before the booking timer, minimum 1 minute, maximum 15 minutes. Imagine a 1 minute timer. That is sadistic.
All right, we're doing that for sure.
We have to. We have to do an entire 25, at least 25 week run just on 1 minute. You're basically forced to answer your emails as quickly as possible, buy power cards, check your roster higher, and then auto book your show. Fingers crossed, pray for the rest. Plus, we could also set that penalty. This could be, maybe we call this legendary difficulty or veteran difficulty, where it's 1 minute. If you lose, you're going to lose 100% of your fan gain. And yeah, just
that's tough.
And you have to have, say, 20 people on your roster. I mean, this is going to get ridiculous. More options coming in. The budget has now been maxed to 4 million. And the reason it's been maxed is previously you may have wanted to, say, started your roster with 10 superstars. That was some tips we picked up along the way. I've passed that on to other people. Now, because the pricing has been scaled, prices have been lower, you'll look to draft up to 20 superstars. And as mentioned, as part of the difficulty changes on Extreme, every week, regardless if it's a PLE or not, you will need to book 5 matches. Your superstars are gonna get hurt more often. Morale's gonna play a bigger piece here in the overall scheme of the puzzle.
Yes.
And there's 10 to 12 new dramas available where superstars can have requests, things can happen to them. God only knows what is going to pop up along the way.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, only on Extreme you'll have to book 5 for every show. On the other difficulties, it'll be 4 and then 5 for the go home and 5 for the PLEs.
That's perfect because that's how we usually play.
Yes. Now, the Hall of Fame trophies, they are still tied into the win condition, aren't they? If you hit the amount of Hall of Fame trophies, you will then trigger the end game, which will be the winner will be determined by how many fans. So let's say you got 14 trophies, you might be losing in fans, so you might not want to get that 15 just yet until you are leading in fans. If that makes sense.
Crystal clear, my friend. Regarding some of these changes as well, let's have a chat about the draft pool. What have you noticed?
Well, it's just everyone, which we asked for in the wish list video. Again, this is what we wanted. I hated that they only had a select, there was like 50 or whatever it was. It felt so small. Now opening it up to everyone. And also, not only that, Jackson, you can bring in all the legends, I believe, and you can change their stats, and there's just so much customization.
Yes, you're exactly right, Dan. Previously available as part of custom draft pools, which may not be in there for online, mind you. Part of your custom draft pools, you could change your stamina, you could change your popularity, but your ring XP, what level they start at, what bonuses they come with, as well as your promo skill weren't available to be changed. Imagine now you download your custom MJF, you download your custom Ric Flair, you get these characters that otherwise might not be in the game, you can set their ring to 5. We could go again, we could increase the veteran, the legendary difficulty, we could set everyone to a level 1 ring XP, and we could set everyone to a level 1 on the mic. and we could drop everyone's stamina, and we can drop everyone's popularity, and we could set it to 1 minute.
God,
it could be
insane.
We could call this the bloodline. But you know, let's call it the bloodline difficulty for one's up because it's just one across the board.
Yeah, no, we're going to experiment a lot. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of
And you
fun.
said it, having the full draft pool. And this is just the start. Plus, whether you're online, actually, it doesn't make sense for local, but while you're online, you can view the draft pool as someone else is drafting. You can go through because it's a
Oh,
much
I
bigger thing to
know.
pick from
That's
now.
so good.
You can scroll. If someone's sitting there and taking 30 seconds a minute, take your time, man. I'm gonna go through and see who's
But
available.
you can even change the legend, like The Rock. You can change him from contract to full time. You saw that, didn't you?
In the custom draft pool.
Yeah. You can actually
Yeah,
change.
that's excellent.
It's
I
just
believe you can
so
do that.
good.
I'm pretty sure you can do that before. We've never flirted with it.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
Yeah, I
geez,
believe
it's
that
good.
was available. As we mentioned, the online tracker looks awesome. The ready up screen, more quality of life improvements with that UI looks sick. Yeah, it'd be great if offline you can do some simultaneous booking, but sadly it just doesn't
So,
make a bunch of sense. We've heard though that power cards are going to carry over season to season,
yes.
which we had floated before if it was available, and we just weren't 100% sure. It's great to
Again,
hear that has been implemented.
that was in the wish list, I'm pretty sure. Now, bruisers and specialists and fighters, that's all the same. And level XP leveling characters, that's all the same, isn't it? There's no changes there. It's just that morale is a bigger factor in this game and stamina is more lenient.
We've heard murmurs that perhaps the class clashes have been deprioritized, such as if you book a bruiser with a cruiser, you book a giant with a fighter, there's going to be less issues there about the match quality being lost, and that in fact overall matchups, having a fighter versus a bruiser or a giant versus a cruiser, there'll be it'll have less of a boost to that match. Just a touch more freedom added, I suppose.
Yes, there's been a lot of fine tuning, I feel, with the whole game, basically, like the actual gameplay mechanics of the matches. And there's just been, because stamina's now a bit more forgiving, I've heard as
That's
well.
right. Up to 15. It's actually up to 15 dramas that could appear. AI's been improved, smarter, harder. That extreme difficulty is going to be tough with 5 matches, no matter what. New match types. We learned about the Gauntlet Eliminator, and backstage brawls are joining the multi-persons, and we have a new underground match with a new bonus, which is joining the singles. You touched on it before, Dan, a new GM assistant. It has all the options from last time, plus it's got an online menu, and you can even view other brands' rosters, which when playing online, if you've got some time here to go, geez, how's this other person doing while they book? Another great improvement.
All the screenshots, by the way, everyone, in this video from New Legacy Inc. Make sure to check out their video on the game.
We're gonna link them in the description below because these guys have
Yes,
delivered the goods.
they sure have.
We must mention one of the biggest changes so far, and we wanted this weaved through. Not only do we get cross-branded PLEs, we now have go home PLEs where all of a sudden your big shows are now going to have where your own single branded PLE essentially is going to be the fourth week, and it's going to be where you look to blow off your major rivalries. And the reason you blow them off on that and not the cross-branded PLEs is your cross-branded PLEs, and this gets quite confusing, is going to need your best superstars in there because the 10 PLEs available: Backlash, King and Queen of the Ring, Clash at the Castle, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, Bash in Berlin, Bad Blood, Survivor Series, WrestleMania, they're all going to have different rewards. And if you're playing online, you're going to have 2 matches, a men and a women's, and there's going to be unique power cards specific to each PLE, which will only be won by whoever superstar pulls off the win. Yes, if you're playing online, you can't see those matches, you can't play out those matches, but hey, many of us are simulating them anyway. It's all part of the thrill. It's all part of the gamble. Who's going to pull it off? With those cross-branded PLEs, they're all free matches. Yes, you have mid-card matches to choose. Fuck the drama curve. That's out for cross-branded PLEs. No need
Is
to
it?
stack your best. It's gone. Your mid-card matches,
Wow.
be it you have, singles or tags or whatever, just book whatever you want. Again, men and women in a cycle through. If you have, say, 4 GMs in a game mode, rather than only having singles matches for those cross-branded matches, or matchups, I should say, you could have 4 GMs in tag situations. So you may look to
Oh,
tank,
I
you
love
may look
that.
to win and team
Because
up, and everyone gets the reward.
you and me might have to go against Tony and Dave. in a tag team match.
That sounds like a serious squash.
No.
Plus, there are PLE bonuses for the winning GM. So not
Oh,
only are you getting
yes.
power card unique rewards that can't be earned any other way, but you could get yourself, say, another 20, 25,000 or more fans simply by winning a randomized match. How good is that?
Well, also, Hunter's going to book, if he's booking a Hell in a Cell for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, he's paying for it too.
That's
So that's a
exactly
good
right.
thing. But there's going to be a real balance here of if you go hard on the go-home show, because if you do, you might have stamina hurting on the big boys, bringing them into the PLE. You can blow off feuds in the PLE too. So there's going to be this real balance of what do I do here? Do I hold off? Do I hold off for the PLE? Do I go big hit? There's just going to be a lot of strategy, and stamina is going to play into effect. But we've also got more on the roster to play with. So there's just going to be this real tug and pull.
Spot on. You could be doubling up superstars who are on both your go home and the cross branded PLEs. If someone's benched from that cross branded PLA, hey, they're going to have more stamina, but perhaps they're going to take a morale hit. Perhaps they have a request that needs to be fulfilled at that cross branded PLE or on that week. Are they going to miss out? Those that are working twice, are they going to get hurt? And we've found out those that get hurt are getting hurt longer. Could we see dreaded
Oh,
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks? Dan and I have been recording our SmackDown versus Raw 2006
shit.
GM Mode series. We're at the final hurdle, at the final episode, and just the last one. 3 consecutive weeks, I've had superstars go down for 10 or more with, say, 6 weeks left. Imagine that happening at the crux at the end. You're blowing off your major rivalries. You're coming into WrestleMania season. Dan's beating me by 250,000 fans. I reckon I can hit it, and unfortunately, I can't. Cody Rhodes goes down. Rhea Ripley goes down. The Rock goes down.
So what? So at the moment, it's 4 weeks is the max, isn't it?
At the moment, that's a very good question. I might have seen up to 5 or
Five.
perhaps
Sorry,
more.
yes, 5.
But in this
Now, what is
latest
it
game,
now?
we can anticipate, well, we don't know. We can anticipate it's going to be a lot more, perhaps even up to 10.
Yeah, yeah. I think it should be a year. But why not?
Jesus.
Yeah, why not? Give them a year, and then if you want to get that person might be in the draft pool, still have 2 weeks left. They might be reduced price. You might think, oh, I might take them. There could be a bit of strategy there. As you said before, Jackson, so let's say we're versing in a Hell in a Cell. I add a superstar, you add a superstar, and we can do a surprise element where we don't know who's what we've picked. But if I was to beat you, let's say in this Hell in a Cell, I would get that match reward that's specific for that PLE that you can't get anywhere else. Just for example, one here, select an opposing brand. A random superstar on their roster will have their stamina reduced to 0 at the start of next week. That's a great card right there. So
That's
if
dirty,
you're
isn't it?
playing for stuff like that, I'm in huge trouble because I know you're going to target me, and I know Tony Khan and Dave Meltzer are going to. I'm going to be in
With the
such
amount of
huge
shit
trouble.
you've talked, you're in big trouble.
Oh no, it's bad. It's bad. We might have to play it just just you and me as well without the CPU. But
Perhaps we can do that in our online session.
yeah, no, the CPU, as you said as well, they are much harder now. I think.
Or so we're told.
Well, here's the thing. Remember how Dave Meltzer kept blowing off his cards straight away on us every season,
Yes.
the first PLE? Well, they specifically said that they're going to space it out now. So at least they've got that. But yeah, you do wonder how good are they going to be. We'll see. We'll see. I hope they're hard. Really do.
Before we wrap things up, speaking of quality of life and art and graphics improvements, Rhea Ripley's picture on the Talent Scout screen. All of a sudden, if you got some time to kill, you're waiting online for your other GM to finish booking like Dan, you best believe I'm checking out Rhea Ripley on that Talent Scout screen.
Yeah, they haven't changed talent scouts, which we weren't a big fan of it, but I didn't hate it. I just don't like that you get the points. I wish they'd get rid of so you can do unlimited amounts. That's the only thing I don't mind the whole pay to search. It's fine with me. It's just the points of it. That's what I don't like about it. But Yeah, no, I'm really excited to get going this week, Jackson, on 2K25 GM mode. Are you excited?
I'm ecstatic.
All right. Guys, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you for our playthrough starting Friday. See you then.
Ciao.